What are the best enduro electric mountain bikes for 2023? Riders, welcome back to Sam's Bikes, where you know we only talk e-bikes, and today we are looking at the best 10 enduro electric mountain bikes for 2023. Last week we did the best trail electric mountain bikes for 2023, and next week we are doing the best super light electric mountain bikes for 2023. And what a busy couple of weeks it has been. And riders, if you like the idea of getting weekly news and features on electric mountain bikes, then smash that subscribe button, like this video. It really does help out with those algorithms. Now, what is an enduro electric mountain bike in 2023? Well, in my opinion, an enduro electric mountain bike is anything that has more than 155 millimeters of travel at the rear, and slacker head tube angle than 64.5. And also, we're talking about full powered electric mountain bikes, so anything that is over 20 kilos, and also that has a motor of at least 80 to 85 newton meters of power. And riders, who is an enduro electric mountain bike for? Well, obviously it's for someone that wants to pad up and look for some steep, gnarly downhill / enduro trails, all the chunky stuff. But on the flip side, I know there are quite a lot of new mountain bikers coming into the electric mountain bike market. And I think an enduro electric mountain bike could be the sweet spot for those new riders because they are very stable and very forgiving. And also, riders, please remember, this is my top 10 enduro electric mountain bikes. And for me, these are the best bikes on the market. And maybe you like a different bike. Put it in the comment and let me know. And remember, riders, if you are looking to do research on your next electric mountain bike, check out samsbikes.net, the best place to do that research and find your next electric mountain bike. And if you do buy your next electric mountain bike through samsbikes.net and use our affiliated links, we will send you out a Sam's Bikes t-shirt just to say thanks for supporting the channel. Now, as I said, riders, there are so many fantastic enduro bikes on the market right now. It was really hard for me to get it down to just 10. I need to mention these bikes that haven't made the list: the Santa Cruz Bullit, Yeti 160E, the new Eagle, Nukeproof, and the Transitions. These are all fantastic electric mountain bikes, but it has the Shimano EP8 and the Shimano 630 watt-hour battery. Now, for me, that is not enough range. And riders, if you want to see what I'm talking about, check out the extreme range test where I put the Bosch, the Brose, the Syncdrive Pro, and the Shimano EP8 to the extreme range test, where I went up and down a mountain as much as I could on every bike. To see those results, check out this video, click on the link up here or here. Super interesting, but as I said, for me, it's not enough range. Okay, legend riders, let's go on to the list. And number one, the brand new Orbea Wild. And I'm really excited about this bike. Rolling on 29 wheels, 170 of suspension up front and 160 in the rear. Bosch Gen 4 motor, or you can also get the Bosch race motor, a 625 watt-hour battery, or a 750 watt-hour. This battery is internal, so you need to drop the motor to take the batteries out, and it's sub 21 kilos. The new Orbea Wild is a really good looking bike, well priced, and it's 21 kilos or more or less. If you put some good Schwalbe Tires on there, it'll probably be 22, 23. But it does look fantastic, and it is starting at 5,700 euros. Number two, the Ibis Oso. The new Oso, love it or hate it, the new design from Ibis looks really cool in my opinion. And it's one of the most interesting e-bike releases for this year. Rolling on 29 wheels or a mullet in the small and medium. 170 of mils up front and 155 in the rear. But the big Oso, or the big bear as I like to call it, can run downhill forks up to 190, and also with changing the stroke length you can go to 170. So a really versatile bike. It's rocking the Bosch Gen 4 with a 750 watt-hour battery. I really love the look of the new Oso from Ibis, and I also love that Ibis have made like a small chainstay for the small and medium and a larger chainstay for the large and extra large. This is going to make it feel really good for the smaller riders and the larger riders. And as you would have guessed it, riders, the Oso doesn't come cheap. We're looking at around 10,500 to 11,000 euros for this bear. Number three, Voima. And again, love it or hate it, I actually personally love the design. This is a super interesting bike from the Finnish mountain bike brand. The Voima is CNC'd machined in 2 parts and then bonded together. It is a rolling piece of art. Rolling on 29 wheels, a whopping 190 of suspension, Bosch Gen 4 motor and a 750 watt-hour battery. And for me, I think the Voima is pretty well priced, coming from a boutique brand in Finland, starting at 6,400 euros. And before we crack on with the next bike, let's give a shout out to the major sponsor, the long-term sponsor, Schwalbe, making the best electric mountain bike tires in the business, in my opinion. My go-to setup, ultra soft magic mirror in the front, soft on the back. I like to go on the front with that ultra soft with the super downhill casing, and on the back with the super gravity casing. And if you don't think it's worth trying an ultra soft on the front, give it a go, riders. And the first couple of rides, you're gonna think, oh, there's not much in it. Trust me, ride it, an ultra soft, and then go back to a soft and see how much you miss that ultra soft. Anyway, massive shout out to Schwalbe for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. Number 4, Kelly's Theos. How cool does this e-bike look? And it's made out of robots, out of thermoplastic. And Kells are saying it's twice as resistant on impact as carbon, which is super interesting and impressive. The Theos is rolling on a mullet wheel, so 29 up front and 27.5 in the rear. A whopping 180 and 170 of rear travel, Shimano EP8 and a 725 watt-hour battery. I personally love the look of the new Theos, super interesting, made out of thermoplastic by robots. And also, I like the lines and the low standover height. It just looks like a bike you want to take out and ride some hardcore downhill on. The Theos is starting from 5,500 euros. Number 5, the Specialized Kenevo, the original big, bad super enduro from Specialized. Rolling on 27.5 wheels, 180 suspension up front and 180 in the rear. A Brose Mag S motor with 90 Newton meters of power and a 700 watt-hour battery. I was lucky enough to test the Kenevo a couple of years ago in Australia, and I had a fantastic time on the Kenevo. And also, I think it's got 27 wheels front and back. I think it's a really good bike for maybe a beginner rider because you are sitting lower to the ground. And also, if you do like the idea of Frankensteining your Kenevo, I know Rob Rides has done it. He's made it 29.29. And last year I rode with Claudio in Switzerland and he went 29.29. Claudio can definitely ride a bike, and he raved about it, saying it was the best electric mountain bike he's ridden. If it was me, I reckon I'd whack some 38s on the front at 180 in a 29er and leave the 27.5 at the back, making a mullet. The Kenevo is starting from 6,900 euros. Number 6, the Giant Rain E+. I've been lucky enough to be riding the Rain for the last few months, and I'm right now working on my long-term review in Australia, which should be out around Boxing Day or just before the new year. But very quickly, my thoughts on the Rain E+. It's a 170, 160 enduro bike rolling on mullets. This bike makes you want to pad up and search for the nastiest downhills. I put it in the same category as a Kenevo. It does feel a bigger bike than 170 or 160. The Giant Rain E+ Zero, the one I'm riding, has a 750 watt-hour battery, comes with the Syncdrive Pro motor, which has 85 Newton meters. I've done a deep dive into that system up here. It's based on a PWX3, but it also uses Giant's own software, remotes, and displays. I've had a fantastic time on the Giant Rain E+, and it is fantastic value starting at 5,000 euros. Number 7, the Scott Ransom E-Ride. The Ransom is another great priced, great spec'd e-bike, and I haven't had it on the list last year because of that 465 chainstay. But after testing and spending a lot of time on the Giant Trance E+ with the 473mm chainstay, I'm starting to eat my words. There are definitely pros and cons to a longer chainstay. I'm going to say someone that wants to smash really hard downhills, a longer chainstay is just more stable. And also for a newer rider or an intermediate rider, you are going to feel stable, more stable on that bike, and you're going to be able to push it harder. So back to the Scott Ransom ride. It's rolling on 29 wheels. It's got 180 mils of travel front and rear. I also believe you can set it up as a mullet or straight 27.5. It's got a Bosch Gen 4 motor and a 625 watt-hour battery. And if you look at the 910 model, this is really smartly spec'd. Like, this has all the bells and whistles, and it's coming in, I believe, like 6,000 or 7,000 euros. It's not an expensive bike, but it has all the right parts on it. Number 8, Rocky Mountain Altitude. The Altitude is the most powerful e-bike in this list with a whopping 108 Newton meters of power. Rocky Mountain have designed their own motor and system, which is super interesting. And the reviews I've read on this motor is it has a lot of power, but it is kind of hard to access because it has very natural feeling motor. I would love to test this bike, and that might be happening soon because there are quite a few Rocky Mountains in Adelaide. The Altitude is rolling on 29 wheels, 170 up front and 160 in the rear. As I said, their own motor with 108 Newton meters and an internal 720 watt-hour battery. When you look at the geometry, rolling on 29 wheels with a chainstay of 439 and 170, 160, I think this would be a very capable, very playful enduro electric mountain bike, starting from 5,500 euros. Number 9, Haibike Nduro. The Nduro is another fantastically priced and spec'd e-bike. Let's have a look at the Enduro 7, rolling on mullets, 180 up front and 180 in the rear of suspension, a Yamaha PWX3 and a 750 watt-hour battery, Fox 38s and a Fox X2 rear suspension, Magura MT7 brakes, and of course Schwalbe Tires on D-Max wheels. That is an absolute killer build, and it's only costing 5,700 euros. And lucky last, number 10, the Pivot Shuttle LT. Brand new Shuttle LT from Pivot is looking like a beast, rolling on 29 wheels, 170 up front and 160 in the rear, Shimano EP8 and a nice 756 watt-hour battery. And again, nice geometry, 29 wheels and a short chainstay of 439 millimeters. And if I'm 100% honest, I really didn't like the old Shuttle with a massive down tube, but this new one looks like an absolute beast. And riders, you probably guessed it, this Shuttle is not going to come cheap, starting at around 10,000 euros. And riders, that's it for me today. I hope you liked my list of the top 10 enduro electric mountain bikes for 2023 that I think, these are my favorite 10. But more importantly, riders, what are your favorite electric mountain bikes, enduro mountain bikes? Put it in the comments, I'd love to know. And riders, if you haven't subscribed to Sam's Bikes, please do so. Share it with like-minded people. It really does mean a lot. And you stay safe out there, and we're going to see you next time.